Hey.
So now, when Jen, okay, so Jen goes to the hospital. They release her and they don't do anything to her because there's nothing to do. But
Right.
how long did she ever mention let me take a step back. Did she go to work the next day, or like how was she quote unquote fired? Do you know?
I don't
And it,
believe she ever even went back. I believe it was a phone call um about her paycheck. She had called them about her paycheck.
okay.
And they
And what
told her then to turn in her stuff that she was no longer employed with them.
Okay, and was that like soon after this incident? Do you
It was
remember?
a couple of weeks later. It was a couple of weeks later. It was
So
not.
she so similar to the KFC where she just walked out, didn't go back, was, as she said with the KFC job, she was waiting for a call from the boss to let her know when she'd be working again. But so she just sat around and didn't contact them for a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, she just sat in her car even. Like it wasn't even like she didn't have anywhere to be. She was just sitting in her car. And for the entire time that she was doing that, and like I said, she was on live constantly. So she just sat on live crying sun up till sundown, and that was it.
Now, my question is this. Do you
Oh, and the
remember?
shoes. I almost forgot. Her shoes, supposedly her work shoes, were stolen from the top of her car at the same time too. Like somebody took them. She had them sitting on her car, and they stole them. It was the second time they had been stolen.
So her shoes, why would she have her shoes on the roof of her car? I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just weird right there. But so now let's and do your best. If you don't remember, just say I have no clue. So she's sitting in her car now. Do you remember what she was telling people about her job?
She wasn't saying anything about her job. She was writing out, "I'm so sick, I can't breathe." She didn't even mention McDonald's for that whole time.
So this was after she walked out of there. And so
Yeah.
she was sick, and she was sick in her car. And it's how long do you think this went on for?
Like I said, it was a while. It was a while. It was, close to a couple of weeks.
So, and then all of a sudden she calls about her paycheck and they tell her to turn her stuff in. Now, this is after going to work, leaving an hour early from a shift because you have to go to a hospital. You go to the hospital, there's nothing wrong, and they send her home. But she wanted to stay at the hospital because it would have been a night where she would have been able to stay warm in a bed,
Yeah.
but they sent
There,
her home.
yeah, yeah. And it was winter, so it was very cold. So yeah. And she wouldn't go to a shelter because of Princess and Callie.
Okay, so then she doesn't talk about work at all. See, I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
go back and find those videos because I know they're out there. I want to see. I want to see what. Yeah, wait a minute. Somebody just said this happened in May, though. So how was she cold?
No, it wasn't in May. It was cold. I remember it being cold.
Well, this was in the whole date we're on now is around May 18th, where she had just started going back working there, and yeah, on May 18th, she returned to work. So this was in May we're talking about. We're not talking about winter. She started working there on about December 8th of 2021.
Yeah, she did start working there in December. But I
Right.
swear, it was freezing. Maybe the weather had done something weird, but it was cold.
So,
I remember very clearly when she got let go from McDonald's. Very
okay.
clearly.
So and she got let go over the phone.
It was
Um,
over the phone. Yeah, she did not go in there
okay. So
because she
she
didn't have the gas to go anywhere. There, she didn't have gas in the car.
okay. So she went in on the 18th. Suppose this is her story. She went in on the 18th. She had a meeting with the managers, and they told her, "You're not dependable. You're worthless." And then they informed her of her termination and cited her absences due to her COVID-related disabilities. So that part, from what you can remember, did not happen.
That did not happen. No, and she didn't go in there. There was no meeting. She didn't go in. It was all over the phone.
Okay. Yeah, I think your information would really help. And let me tell you, I did some research. Now, remember, or everybody knows that all of McDonald's restaurants are franchised. Okay, they're under
Right.
the name of McDonald's. They are a McDonald's, but they are run and owned by individuals.
Yeah, they're all privately
So
owned.
exactly. So this company that owned this McDonald's, and I think they may have had another one, it was an LLC. I'm not going to tell you what the name of it is, but I did some research on it, and the LLC is no longer around. Okay, they are no longer in business. I am not sure who owns. The year was 2022. 2022 was when this so-called firing happened. Not all
Yes.
franchises. Okay. But I can tell you that this franchise that we're talking about was owned by an LLC. It wasn't a corporate. So I know that based on the paperwork here. So so that information, as you said, and another thing, you brought that up. What defense can do is they can pull her medical records from May, and they can see exactly what the doctor said, and they can pull the medical records from this date when she went into the hospital, the day that she walked out of work. And if the medical records say that they had no treatment for her and they sent her home, that's really going to hurt her case also, because she walked out of work.
Right.
Interesting. Well, listen, I will reach out to you if you're interested in discussing this with the defense, because from what I can from what I can understand from this LLC is it is not an entity anymore. And then what that means is defense will probably go after the manager and the assistant manager, which is not cool, because I'm assuming that they probably don't have a lot of money. From my attorney here, she just looked at the weather on that day. It was 40 degrees and raining. So there you go. 40 degrees and raining.
Yeah, and that's cold in Ohio.
Absolutely,
That's cold.
especially for that time of year.
Yeah, she's in Cincinnati. It's cold. Like that rain is like ice. So,
Well, listen, that's some great information. I'll reach out to you, okay?
yeah, yeah, definitely get a hold of me. And is everybody good? Any more questions so I can drop down and
I'm going to kick you out.
hell yeah.
Thanks, OG.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Interesting shit right there. Oh, man.